What's up, everybody? This is Nick, and you're joining us once again for a Micro Mini Lightning Newscast, screaming right back at you after a week off. And we have a reason we took a week off, and we're about to explain that to you. But before we do that, I need to always introduce my friend and fellow newscaster.
This is Eric.
And Eric, last week we ran into a little problem, and I don't want to give anything away about what we're talking about today. So, how's the last couple weeks been, my friend?
Oh, it's going pretty well. I'm just moving right along, just blowing with the wind, going where the wind takes me.
That's what you got to do. And that brings us to our topic for the day, Eric. And as always, we have 10 minutes to bring them this topic. 10 minutes on the guest star Death Star to bring them the topic that we are going to talk about today. And that is weather. A couple weeks ago, we reported to you, well, I guess it's been a while back now, that we reported to you that Oklahoma had set a record for the longest time without tornadoes. Well, my friends, last week, on the very day that we normally record this show, we had 15, Eric. Count them, 15 tornadoes at once. Eric, where were you when the 15 tornadoes hit?
When those 15 tornadoes swirled around the state of Oklahoma, leaving destruction in their path, I sat on my couch and watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine, if I remember correctly.
Oh, very good choice.
Thank
very
you.
good choice. I believe I was, we had done a off-site location. I was reporting live from the source of the tornado. And a voice came to me in the middle of talking about the, once again, a polluted lake in around California, the trash state.
Yes. Well, are there any unpolluted lakes in California? The answer is no.
I believe there's one. It's called the ocean.
The ocean, and it's not polluted at all.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. But a voice came to me and it said, Nick, it's time to go. And so we had to put things on hold, and we did for our own safety. Eric watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, me hiding in a hole with my family.
Yes.
Like a bunch of cowards. But this is what happened, Eric. 15 tornadoes, that is unreal. And I mean, I know probably a lot of our listeners may not be around Oklahoma and that sort of thing and understand really the nature of tornadoes. But Eric, this was something, I mean, it was kind of a scary thing. The tornadoes looked a little frightening. That's why my family decided to get into the shelter. But
yeah, the storm. I mean, if you grow up in Oklahoma, you watch every news station because there's so much going on in the storms that each one's covering a different bit of it at some point in time. So it's good to just flip back and forth and just looking at it. You live in Oklahoma, you get kind of used to like, that wall cloud didn't look that bad. And that's the way they talk about it is like, oh, look at the outflows here. And you know what they mean. You pick up the lingo pretty quick, the more you listen to them. And so I was kind of watching. I was like, oh, this isn't very bad. I mean, these aren't going to spawn anything more than some F1s. I was like, maybe I'll have some F1s and maybe a few F2s at the most. I bet most of it would be F0s. F0s aren't bad at all. You don't have to go to a shelter for that.
We just call F-Zeros wind in Oklahoma.
Pretty much. It's kind of like a straight line wind if you have any of those. But yeah, I wasn't worried. So I just kind of flipping back and forth between shows as I watched. I think I had Brooklyn Nine-Nine on at some point in time. I finished that season. Season 5 was very good. I can't speak tonight, man. I'm really falling over my words.
Well, it is a bad day for allergies.
Oh man, yeah.
I think some of the wind, if you remember when we were talking about that, there was like a big thing to be said about a jet stream moving in. We talked about that.
Yeah.
And it was going to bring all sorts of tornadoes and weather with it. And I think part of that was this just stream of allergy stuff, pollen counts high and all that stuff.
It's crazy high right now. Let's see here. Looking at the list from the National Weather Service, we had 5 EF zeros. 9 F1s and just one F2 out of that storm. So it was a pretty light storm. I don't know the F2. Oh, it was quite a ways away, so it wasn't bad at all.
But
for us, the F2 had a width of about 600 yards, so pretty good size. 2 football fields.
where did it hit?
Tillman, around Tillman.
Oh.
In Tillman County.
Well, there's not much around there, so it probably just went out into a field somewhere and died.
Yeah, probably nothing out there. Not much. Just some farmhouses, country land. So yeah, I don't know if you know Oklahoma, but yeah, northwest, first, southeast Loveland. I don't know where that's at. Several of them popped up around there. That little area got hit by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Tillman got 7 of the tornadoes. Now like 15 tornadoes sounds like a lot. If we go back to 2017, so we had our first tornado May 2nd. Last year, we had 3 tornadoes in March, 10 in April, and then 57 in May. So this is not something. It's something we're used to, and on.
Well, we weren't used to such a long time without it.
Yeah, that was the uncommon thing, is having like April being no tornadoes.
But that was weird. Here in Oklahoma, Eric, we say if we're going to break a record, we're going to break it big.
Well,
and why not have 15 tornadoes to break it?
That's not. Yeah, I guess I did break it. Well, last year in May, about May 18th, we had about 30 tornadoes on May 18th, and then another 10 or 12 on May 19th. So, I mean, we're used to it. I didn't think it was too bad. Like, this is the kind of weather where you go out and watch it, but it wasn't dark enough for him to be rain. You could kind of see him. Until it got real late at night, you could see them. And we just go out and watch them. Did your parents ever do any of that? Just have the garage door open and you go stand out?
Watch parties?
Watch parties, yeah. Oh, yeah. Just like sit there. Well, I grew up, we didn't have storm shelters. We just went to the center of the house.
Right. Well, and ever since like we talked about before, ever since the F5 hit,
Which one?
Well, the second one. Well, the first one was when people really started getting the storm shelters.
Yeah, the first F5 was 1999?
I think so.
And then the second F5 was in 2002 or 3?
Yeah, I want to say it was only like 4 years later.
Yeah, it was pretty close. And that first F5, if I remember right, that was the one that they decided to make a new classification, was the F5 after that one. It was so powerful that the F4 wasn't enough. So they decided to come up with the F5 classification. Isn't that right?
That's right. I want to say that's correct.
That tornado. It took them a couple years to do that, and then they retroactively said that was F5, and then that one in 2002 was an F5.
I'd have to look that up. I'm not entirely certain, because I want to say that first one.
So here's an F5 in 1999.
Right.
So let's see here. Oh man.
Because I want to say that first one even exceeded. I remember reading it even exceeded the expectations of an F5, and they started, they started the idea.
So that F5 in 1999 was 1,760 yards wide.
Oh yeah, it was a big.
Hold on. That's the width of the path it was on, and the length of the path was 38 miles. Yeah, miles. It went 38 miles. I remember that one. So that was in 1999. It cut a swath out of Oklahoma City. And then the one from 2000, I want to say 2 or 3. I'll look it up here real quick. No, it must not be 2. It decimated. It just absolutely, it made more. No, when was that one?
Buddy, F5s have, the classification's been around for a while.
Oh, has it?
Yeah.
You heard it here first. F5's been around a while.
Yeah, but I mean, the one in Oklahoma, I remember them saying that it surpassed the F5, and they were thinking about making a new classification of like F6.
Oh, really?
Was how bad it was, that 1999 one. That one was bad. I mean, it was a it was a bad one. I remember coming back. I was actually at college when that hit. And I remember coming back in town, it looked like a war zone.
Yeah, I think it injured or killed up to 500 some odd people. I mean, yeah, it was a monster. I mean, it just annihilated everything in its best. It's weird. Like once you see what an F5 can do, it killed 36 people and hurt 583. And that's like people being prepared. That was the one where, like, unless you were underground, you were not going to survive because it was so powerful. I remember driving by its path sometime later. It ripped the grass out of the ground. It was the ground was bare anywhere there wasn't debris because it was so strong. It just grabs and pulls the grass out. That's insane.
Well, I mean, here's some of the things that 1999 one. Let's see. Severe ground and pavement scouring occurred. Trees and shrubs were completely debarked, and vehicles were thrown up to 440 yards from where they were. An airplane wing was carried for several miles, and a 36,000-pound freight car was bounced 3/4 of a mile.
I like that. It bounced. It was bounced 3/4 of a mile.
This was the 50th and last tornado to be officially assessed as an F5 on the Fujita scale before the introduction of the enhanced Fujita scale in the United States.
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. I think they recalculated the scale, and the one I'm thinking of in 2003, I want to say it was now considered an F4.
Right. And now a tornado does not get put on the Fujita scale unless it's over 9,000. Sorry, Fujita. I couldn't help it.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, my friends. That's the end.
It's a good thing. Nice joke to go out on.
Buddy,
Bravo, Nick.
I guess it is. It was, if you've ever seen Dragon Ball Z, you'll know what I'm talking about. But Eric, for those that haven't seen Dragon Ball Z, why don't you tell them where they can find us?
Well, you can find us everywhere you can go over 9,000. So on the internet, pretty much. And you can find us on YouTube. Just go to Pull Up a Chair Podcast. You'll find us. Go to Facebook, search for Pull Up a Chair Podcast. You'll find us. That's probably the best place to contact us if you want to let us know how ridiculous we are and how everything we say is wrong.
And how you hate us.
We'd love to hear from you. Or the opposite, but that didn't happen as much. And that's the primary places you can really get in contact with us quickly. You can find us, of course, on Podbean. That's our primary hosting site. But, of course, iTunes and every other podcasting app we're on there. But if you're on Podbean, go give us a heart, I think they have, or like us and follow us.
Yeah, you can give us a heart.
And follow us and subscribe to us wherever we're at on whatever system we're on that you're listening to. Let us. Hey, if you're listening to us on anything, if you're on iTunes, go give us 5 stars or 1 star, whatever you think is appropriate. We believe that you have the right to choose that, and we're not going to try to influence you. And that's where you can find us. We got the Twitters. You can tweet us at Pull Up a Chair Pod. We watch that, and I think that's it, Nick.
All right. Well, we appreciate you. You know what? We appreciate you hanging around, waiting out there for us, because I had to pull myself out of a storm shelter.
Oh, they're hard to get out of
where
sometimes.
I have been living for the last week. And my friends, I appreciate you being out here and to welcome me back with open arms. And we hope you have yourself a great day.
Bye.